Thank you so much. Thanks, App.js, for having me. So let's talk about Expo. So it was around 2021 when I saw this. And in my mind, React Native was only for native apps. So I don't know if this happens to you, but this was my reaction. It was like, I'm just starting to use React Native on native apps. Why I need to do it on web? Fast forward a couple of years, we have Universal Expo. And I say universal because it's a way to say that it's built for Android, iOS, and web. Today we are going to talk about it. And I want to share with you how Expo helped us to grow as a team and as a company. It gave us the leverage to build across web, iOS, and Android, kept learning quickly, and stay close to customers. I'm Edwin, and I'm building the future construction at Handoff. Before we talk about Expo, I want to give you some context about the company. This was our whole company in December 2023 in Sao Paulo. Back then, we were a very small team trying to reach product market fit. I was the only front-end focused engineer of the team when we still had those titles, front-end focused. Now it's just everything. When you're trying to find product market fit, speed is not a nice to have. Speed is how you survive. We were already using React Native, so I thought, what if we do it on web? What can we do it to work on web? So we made a bet on Universal Expo. This is actually a true message that I sent to my teammate because we were evaluating different options to make it work on web. And this is the PR that I put together. And I evaluated a tool before it. It was Solito. Maybe you already know it. It's made by Fernando Rojo. Shout out to Fernando for taking that challenge. The proposal was great, but it was not a fit for us at the moment. Expo was simpler, and it already had the community. So as you can see, the setup was made in November 2023. So we started to work on a mobile app. We were already going to use React Native. We already were working with a native app in mind. And thanks to Expo, we were able to deploy that to the web. And because the app, the fully functioning mobile app, was already on web, it made the perfect landing for our ads on Facebook. So this is how normally it looks when you do a Facebook ad. You have the ad, then you get into a landing page in the browser that Facebook provides. That's in the ecosystem of Facebook. Sorry, that's inside of the Facebook app. Then you go to the mobile app outside, and then the customer gets value. This was our flow having the mobile app. So as you can see, it was much faster. And everything happened inside of the in-app browser of Facebook. And make no mistake, the other flow is not wrong, but we were optimizing for speed. So that's what we did. This is how the ad would look like, a real ad that we did at that time. You click on it, and then you were here. This is Facebook still. This was the browser. This was the onboarding of our app, and it was just working on the web. And we were planning this to release it on the app stores, so it was already working on web. And that quick win actually gave us also the first learning that mobile web is its own beast, almost like a fourth platform. In this particular case, we had problems with that specific browser of Facebook. The ad had some caveats. Depending on where you click on it, it will bring you a different browser. So as you can see, the browser, right here, it was a nice Chromium-based browser. But the browser here, it was something else. As you can see, the black bar at the top, here it was overlapping with the UI that we had. So it was definitely something different. So we needed to be smart about the differences in those browsers. And this is a real comment in a Codebase by our team member Jan. Shout out to Jan, who's here, for making this and figuring this out, because it was very, very hard to investigate. This is the real code that we use it, because we needed to just do a lot of conditionals. So I just wanted to share that with you. And after that, after learning that the in-app browser was really hard to work with, we decided to completely move away from it. We decided to actually try to move the user away of that. And this is a real experiment that Jan did. And at the end of the experiment, we actually learned that we shouldn't do it. That it was better for the user to be on the in-app browser of Facebook, because it was more hurtful for the conversion to move it outside. We wanted to be in the middle of the flow and then move the user outside to the app, but we learned that that was not the best option, even though the in-app browser of Facebook was a bit buggy. And the best thing is that we learned it, and we learned it fast, because we already had the app and we were already doing it. I don't know how long it will take us to do it if we were using another solution. So I think this is a really great thing of having something on the web, something that you were planning to do on the mobile app. And talking about fast, we were able to reach web and iOS in 4 months. Android, as you probably already know, it has its own complications, but we eventually went there. Each platform had its own timeline, but the code base stayed consistent all the time. Since the web launch, we already have some of the iOS screens, so it was really fast. Now let's talk about trunk-based development and how that fits with Expo, and the other way around, how Universal Expo fits with trunk-based development. Our team was optimizing for speed, and trunk-based development was a result of that mindset. And I think Universal Expo comes really great with this approach, because trunk-based development is all about this. Every merge that goes to main should be on production. That's risky, I know. That's sometimes crazy, I know. But it works, trust me. It's been working for us. That let us find platform gaps quickly. We were able to test on web, and we see something that it should be fixed on iOS, either way. And thanks to Expo, our trunk-based development approach was supercharged, because normally on web, you deploy, it's easy. The server just sends the app to the browser, and that's it. On mobile, as you know, you need to go through the stores. It's more painful to do it. But there was an added benefit in that Expo came with Expo application services, which was great, and gave us over-the-air updates. So we were able to be closer to web on mobile. We were merging to main, deploying to the web right away. Users will get it, and then an OTA will come out, and users will get it too on mobile. Of course, you will need to do periodically deploys on the stores, but this is the way you need to do that. Now let's talk about tactical things. Universal does not mean identical. No, it's not like you write it once and that's it. No, there are differences, as you already probably know. And now with the great talk that we had earlier about Expo on desktop, maybe we will have more. But that's great, because it doesn't mean identical. It just means that you need to put the differences in the right place. One way we did that was by using adapters to organize the platform differences. This is, again, real code. This was an adapter to use PostHawk or analytics vendor. And we were first defining the common types for it, how the adapter will be used in the rest of the code base. We declare that type. And then we implement that type, basically that interface, on web and on native. And as you probably know, Expo has a great way to separate the code for both platforms. So it were different implementations, but at the end of the flow, they were using just the same interface. We were just using use post hoc over there. Now think about this, use adapters if there are different libraries for web and mobile, and there are different APIs for different platforms, like permissions for Android. We were actually building notifications, and what cool use case of adapters was to separate the differences between iOS and Android for permissions, so that was also a use case for that. And we have tons of libraries that we needed to get the web version and also the native version of it, and we use adapters for that. Another way to properly place the differences is at the routes level. Normally, you will assume that if in your app you have a mobile breakpoint, that would only apply to iOS and Android because that's mobile. But no, with the Universal Expo, you have the wonderful fourth platform, which is mobile web. So let's see how that looks. This is, again, real code of how we separate the routes. The web file takes in consideration the breakpoint and selects the content based on that. Selects the mobile when it's mobile and selects the desktop when it's desktop. And it's on web because on web you could have both breakpoints. And the cool thing about Expo and the platform-specific files is that we can just separate another file for native, and that will reduce bundle size and it will help you to also simplify the code. We also have the benefit of having a great design system, thanks to a great design team, and I think that's a multiplier for using Universal Expo. Because you can think of it as an adapter for the UI. And this is our app. I hope you can see it well. Here's a dropdown. I should have highlighted this, but this is what you should see. This is a dropdown, how it looks on desktop. This is how it looks on mobile web. And over there is Android and iOS. The same component, the same API on the code, but is different in the UI. Basically an adapter. This is the real code. Again, I like to show real code. This is where the magic happens, just a breakpoint. Before, we do separate the screens at the route level because it's the topmost level. But for some components, we want to share a common component that is used between platforms, so we also handle the responsibility there on the component. This is a different type of dropdown over there with the statuses of the projects. How's that look? That's how it looks on native. This is how it looks on desktop, and this is how it looks on mobile web. This is our dialog component. I took a lot of inspiration for our design system. I took it from the guys from Infinite Red, which their components were really great. They have their source code, and the structure was great. And the first component, the button, I took it from them. It was cool. And this dialogue approach, I think I took it from another company. I don't remember the name right now. But the same. On web, on desktop is a model. On native and mobile web is a bottom sheet, which, by the way, implementing the bottom sheet on mobile web, it was a pain. So thanks to the team of Software Mansion for putting out a new bottom sheet component. It'll be our third bottom sheet implemented on the app. So yeah. This is an example of choosing where to differ. This is a global search functionality that we have. It's a model on desktop, and it is a screen on the mobile version. So as you can see, you can also choose where to differ, and that's how you use a great design system for. Now, did the Universal Expo bet pay off? We have built really cool features since then. This is one of our most complex features, the estimate table. Here's how it looks on web. It is very complex. It has drag and drop for items and for groups. Drag and drop was also a pain to implement. Here's how it looks on mobile web, and there is how it looks on native. This is another recent development. This is a Gantt chart on desktop. And I hope this helps you to think that you can do pretty much whatever you want. You are not limited. You don't need to have a mobile-like UI on desktop just because you are using the code. You can just choose where to differ. And you can also reuse some components. For example, the routes over there share a same interface with the bottom tabs on the native side. So you can share. And we have been developing fast. This is real information from our team. This is how many PRs are merged per month by the developers focused on the front end on our team. So yeah, we are averaging around 106 PRs a month, and in April we did 131. There are other team members also touching that code base, which probably increases that number, but we are focusing only on this data is only focused on the front end focused engineers. Or maybe the ones that push more code to these specific projects. This is the number of pull requests per engineer. This is how many time takes for a PR to be solved from the initial commit to the resolution to the merge. So we have about 0.7 hours, and we have about 40 PRs per engineer. We also grew as company. Remember that photo from Sao Paulo? This is a photo on our latest offsite in the HQ in Austin, Texas. So that's also great. More people. Did the bait pay off? Yes, it did. Universal Expo helped us learn faster. That's the whole takeaway. If you need to get out and think about something, this is key. It helped us learn faster because it made us be able to iterate quickly. One product surface, clear platform boundaries, and faster learning loops. Shout out to the Expo team. You are helping all of us to build the future.